Hello there, beautiful people, beautiful souls, beautiful beings of the highest divine white light. I am Minister Nisha, and I have a message for you. Listen, today's topic will be about the power of release. The power of release. Uncovering your authentic expression. Uncovering your authentic expression. The power of release. We're going to talk about this. I know I talk about it. I talk about release and detachment a lot on this channel because I believe that when we are able to allow ourselves to release outside energies or outside influences in our own particular journey or life experience, then we are more likely to encounter or uncover our authentic expression of oneself, the true and truth about ourselves, understanding what our true path is, understanding what the journey is all about when we release these outside energies. Okay, so um, the power release, I want to talk about outside influences. This can be your environment. This can be the people that you allow within your own personal space and in your journey or in your life experience. Um, Release. When I say release, I'm not saying that you have to let go of people or, distance yourself altogether. But it comes a time in our life when we have to realize that most of the time when we encounter other energies, I will call people energies on this specific topic. Um, but when we encounter other energies, um, we tend to reflect what they bring forth in the connection. And when I say release, what I am trying to get you to understand is you want to make sure that you understand who you are, what you stand for, um, what you're bringing to the plate. A lot of people in this time like to say, oh, I'm going to match your energy. I'm going to match what you're on, but you have to be careful about what you're matching. Don't match devilish energy. Do not match energy that is beneath you or at a denser vibration. Um, just because we are in a certain element or a certain environment does not mean that we have to take on that environment. So, in other words, you don't have to have the characteristics of denser energy just because you live in that space at this particular time. Be the light. Be that person who someone can look up to in their environment. Set standards for yourself. Set boundaries for yourself so that you can protect your own energy, your own well-being, your own heart space, your own mental thoughts and clarity. You have to be able to be in a space but yet not conform to the space. Be content in who you are as an individual without allowing outside influences to dictate who you are or what type of characteristics you carry. Um, for instance, I know I like to use scenarios. For instance, if I'm on, no, if I live in a certain area in life, and this area is known for a lot of crimes, this area is known for, lower education. This area is known to be a place where many don't leave. We get stuck, we get confined in. You don't have to be conformed to that. You can rise above that by releasing yourself and saying, listen, I want to set better standards for myself. I am not the person that I don't I don't want to look like where I come from. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be in the number of the ones who would not make it out, the ones who are already have their journey or their area of where they are going to go when they become an adult. You know, they're either going to be in jail, they're either going to be in a grave, they're not going to have any higher level of education. They're not, you don't want to be confined to that. So do not allow your outside influences, your environment, your place of residence, your place of work, dictate who you are. You can work at a McDonald's, you know, and just because that's the lowest of the franchise when it comes to employment does not mean that you don't have an education. Because you work there doesn't mean you don't have a higher level of education. Or just because you work there doesn't mean that you can't find a residence, save up your coins, or find a way to better your credit scores, or drive nice cars. Just because you work there doesn't mean that you have to be conformed to what the average McDonald's worker deem value. You know, have a greater value about yourself. So that's what I mean about the power release, releasing yourself from that outside influence of what statistics may say your life should look like, or what your environment may say your life should look like, or what your work should say your life should look like. Just because you work at McDonald's don't mean you're from the ghetto. You don't have to be from the ghetto. You don't have to have a ghetto mentality. You don't have to have an imprisonment mentality just because you're from that area that, at this time you probably can't but do anything but afford that area. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be confined to it. That doesn't mean that you're not making action steps towards bettering your life. So that's what I mean about release. Release yourself from those outside influences and release yourself from those environments. The second part to the power release, because I have two parts, but within the two parts there are different areas. So the second part of the power release is past experiences. And past experiences could be like culture, religion, or relationships. Now, when you come in contact as a being to, when it comes to your culture, meaning when you are born into a family and your family has a certain way of living, that's your culture, your certain way of being, certain areas of education, certain areas of where you're going to live, that's culture. Because we can't do anything about where we're born, what we're born into, but we can always make changes, be the catalyst to our family, or be the golden child of the family. So maybe you have been born into a family that no one finishes high school, or no one goes to college, but yet when you're born into that family, you say, I shall not be confined to the culture I was born into. I will finish high school and I will go to college. You're speaking affirmations into your life. You have a bigger dream and you value yourself to a higher state. So that's a form of release by valuing yourself above what your circumstances is, above what the experiences you're having at this time. So when I speak of past experience, I'm speaking of your culture. You don't have to abide by that. You can rise above it and break those generational curses. You can be that golden child. You could be the one who be the catalyst to your family and break the chains or cast out the demons, whatever the case may be within your family dynamic or within your cultural dynamics. Another form of past experience could be religion. So this also fits within the culture. So, for instance, you could be born into a family who's Catholic, but yet you don't feel like you belong within that cultural religion that you were born in. You don't want to be a Catholic. You don't want to go to mosques. You don't want to do that. You connect more with maybe Christianity or maybe Buddhism or maybe Buddhism, Rosicrucian, whatever, or you may not do any religion. You may not want to look at religion. You may want to be the new age, and look at self-care and self-healing. Um, so the thing about it is, you can release yourself from that. You can cultivate some form of release by being or rising above the cultural religion that you were born into. You don't have to be conformed to it. See, and then the other form of past experience is relationships, right? So when you're in a relationship, rather it's platonic, like friendships, or rather it's intimate, as in marriages, or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be, intimate connections. Now, when you're in those connections, when it comes to all of these past experiences, especially relationship, when you're in those connections, you tend to pick up the energy of the other person or the other organization or the other religion. You pick up the energies of that. Rather, it's the way that they dress, the way that they talk, the way that that negative talk, or rather is being an aggressive person, rather is being a person of greed, always looking for money or some type of conditions when it comes to being in a relationship or in a culture or within one of those religious organizations. So you pick those energies up. But when I say releasing the past experiences, you have to find a way to release yourself from those relationships, because when you came into that, you didn't know how to be a Christian, or you didn't know how to be a Catholic, or you didn't know how to be, really overly aggressive, or, jealous, or whatever the case may be. You came in with unconditional love. Truly, in the beginning of every connection, there is an unconditional love where you're not looking for any conditions. You come in with love. That's in everything: your culture, your religion, your relationships, right? But then once you get into these organizations, once you get into this cultural fantasies, or once you get into these relationship fantasies, then you tend to pick up all these different energies, and now they're a burden on you. So now you're walking around with all these different energies that you have picked up on the way. So you have to find some type of ritual or some type of form of release from all the past energies. so that you can get back to uncovering your true and authentic self. Because you have to get back to your purest form. Because when we were born into the culture, we were new babies. And a new baby is pure and come with all of the, you know, big ideas, big dreams, you know. You're here and you have this big vision for yourself. When you first come into the culture as a baby, rather as being born into a family, you have this big, bright, you know, what's the word I want to say? Like you have this big imagination about what is, and this big old world I just born into. Now, what am I going to do with it? That's how you come into every experience. You come in as a new baby learning your experience, rather it's religion, rather it's a relationship, or rather it's the culture that you're born into. You come in as a baby, as the purest form, ready to learn. You have this big imagination about where it's going, because any relationship, any organization, you see some form of future endeavors that you're encountering with that relationship, with that culture, or with that religion. But then once you step into it, you start going on with the what they call the Joneses, and things start happening, and you start picking up all these negative, lower vibrational energies, and it's becoming a burden, and it's kind of wearing you down. And now you're ready to move on. You don't want to be within that family. You don't want to be within that religion. You don't want to be within that relationship. But yet, as you move on, you have not released any of those energies. So that's why when you leave one, say for instance, you're in one church and you leave that church and you go to the next church, guess what? You're going to see the same, you're going to run into the same type of people that were in the past church, and you're just going to be church after church after church after church. Because you didn't release. It's not the church. It is not the people in the church. It is you who have to release the energies from all of these new places that you are encountering in your life. And that's the same with your culture. When you be born into your family, you have all these different people in your family, all these different characteristics, all these different attitudes, all these different, you know, in your family. And then when you say, for instance, stop being so close with this family member, and you start being with that family member. And now you're picking up the characteristic of this family member. Now you're picking up the characteristic of the next family member. So the thing about it is, you have to find a way to release. It's not about the family member, each family member you're encountering. You may say, oh, I don't like their attitude. Oh, but you have picked up that same attitude. I don't like how they treat people, but you're treating people the same way. See, that is what I mean. It's not about the outside or it's not about the environment. It's not about the outside influences. We have to find a way to release all of the energies outside of us, all of the experiences we have encountered, in order to move forward in our most true and authentic way of being. That's the only way you can get to your authentic expression of oneself. That is it. That is all. I wanted to talk about that because, listen, stop looking at outside influences, stop looking at outside energies, and stop placing the blame on others. Look within. Check your own vessel. Look to see what it is that you need to release. Because once we learn that it's not about this person, that organization, that cultural background, it's about us releasing what no longer serves us so that we can walk in our true and authentic own oneself, express expressing our own truth. Okay, that's it, guys. I am so grateful to be able to bring that message to you. This is Minister Nisha here in Healing Hearts Ministry. I am so honored and grateful to serve you guys. Um, Look forward to the next message. Listen, this is not it. I am here to help mend the brokenness so that you can truly walk in your own true, authentic expression, expressing your truth of who you are at the core of it all, not what has been laid deemed who you should be. Until next time, listen, take care of you guys, take care of yourself, you know, make sure you're putting these things into action. You know, I hope that this message will bless you in some form in your life to help you mend and heal whatever it is that you are encountering at this time. Until next time, peace, love, and blessings. Bye.